how's it going, guys? It's Scarecrow, and today I have for you guys 5 Destiny tips for complete Destiny noobs, because this is the kind of stuff that I would have liked to know when I started Destiny a few days ago. I've been playing Destiny 2 since its launch, and these are just some tips from a complete Destiny noob like myself. I have no Destiny experience beyond a couple days ago when I picked it up for the PC launch, and these are just some things like if you're new to Destiny and you're a complete noob like myself, this is just some stuff and tips that I would have liked to have known, or just some general information that I'm glad that I know now that I would have liked to have known when I started playing. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get on with this. Number 1 is get used to the cycle of Destiny. Now, Destiny is a looter shooter, which means there is a cycle of gameplay that is very prevalent throughout the entire game, which is you kill enemies to get better weapons to kill enemies. That is the cycle of this entire game, and a lot of people will call it a grind, and that's exactly what Destiny and most RPGs are of any description, is a grind. You basically grind to get better weapons to kill enemies to get better weapons. That's the whole attraction here, and a lot of people really enjoy it, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like the grind, and you have to know what you're getting into here. But you're going to be killing a lot of the same enemies and doing missions that will seem quite repetitive, and that's going to be the major hook or the major sinker for you and this game. I personally love it. I personally love grinding for better weapons to be able to kill enemies faster to get better weapons and more loot. Another game that this kind of system could be used to describe is Borderlands. In Borderlands, you find crazy and exotic weapons to kill enemies in crazy and exotic ways to get even more crazy and exotic weapons. And while Destiny's weapons are nowhere near as crazy or insane as the Borderlands series, there's still some great weapon variety and very fun weapons to use. Number 2 is don't get attached to gear. Now, when you're just starting out in Destiny 2, there's always going to be better gear, so don't get attached to gear unless it is legendaries or higher level epics. You really want to basically just be constantly swapping out weapons in search of something better, because not only does it keep the game fun, but you're always going to be finding better equipment and better guns and armor as you level up. I myself was using a different weapon just about every level or so, because I was always finding new weapons to try out, stronger weapons, better armor, and there was always something new to try. So by all means, if you find a weapon that you really like, then by all means keep using it. But at the same time, there is a ton of weapons in this game, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't at least try them. So don't get too attached to gear, and make sure that once you've stopped using a weapon, rather than just discard it or keep it in your inventory taking up space, make sure that you disassemble it. If you guys don't know, you can disassemble all of your weapons for credits or in-game currency, and it's a great way to get currency. I have over 50,000 currency in-game just from doing basically nothing. I haven't bought any weapons or any armor in-game because I find it all in chests, and basically if I don't need it or if I don't want it, if it's not comfortable with me, I just disassemble it. Number 3 is do side missions. Now, this might be a bit obvious, but basically every single area you come across in the game will have side missions on your map, and you want to do them because not only do they give you XP and currency, they also give you weapons and tokens. And you want to do them all because a lot of them have interesting stories and really cool bosses for you to face off, and Destiny is not a game that you can rush. This is really not a game that you want to just be rushing through the main story or anything like that. Take your time, do the side quests which allow you to level up, and my philosophy for RPG games and games that have a leveling system is it's always better to be over leveled than to be under leveled. It's always better to be stronger than it is to be weaker, and the way that you get stronger in an RPG game is of course doing side quests and finding better gear from those side quests. So do side missions, don't be afraid to do them. You don't have to do all of them obviously, but keep in mind that it's better to do them earlier than to come back later and do them. Tip number 4 is purple is your best friend. Now, depending on what your power weapon is, and I'm going to recommend a rocket launcher for the earlier levels because of just how powerful they are and how quickly they can clear out bosses and waves of enemies, but they have limited ammunition, and purple means power ammunition, and you always want to have at least 1 or 2 shots in your power weapon. So if you see purple ammunition lying on the ground, just snag it up. You always want to have some power ammunition because they really help out in a pinch. A lot of the times you'll end up going up against a boss, and it's just nice to have something to take it down a third of its health, or just basically a heavy hitter weapon, and you need power ammunition for that. So purple is your best friend. It's one of the best colors in the game, and so whenever I see purple on the ground, I head for it because more likely than not, I'm running low on power ammo. And tip number 5 is breaking a habit from most FPS shooters that you will have acquired this habit from. Do not spam grenades. Now, in Destiny 2, you have a grenade and you get to customize your grenade in various ways depending on your class type, but it takes quite a while for your grenade to recharge, and so you don't want to waste it. If you're coming across 4 or 5 enemies, don't immediately chuck a grenade. A lot of the time, the enemies in Destiny, particularly in the lower levels, aren't that difficult to defeat, and a lot of the time you'll be scrambling for a grenade when you need it most. When you're in a surprise boss fight and you're actually getting overwhelmed, you won't have your grenade because you will have used it earlier, and it takes around 1 to 2 minutes to recharge. This was a hard habit for me to break because I'm a Call of Duty player. I've played a lot of other FPS shooters, and you usually have about 3 or 4 grenades. They often get resupplied really quickly, whereas in Destiny, it's a habit you need to break. Yes, they do help out with the smaller mobs, but you're better off using them in the stickier situations when you really require it. So basically, don't spam grenades. Don't be afraid to use them, but also be a little bit conservative with them. Also, for a bonus tip here, I did want to say there is some light weapon and armor customization in Destiny 2, which I wasn't actually aware of until I reached around level 16, because it's not actually mentioned in the game, at least I don't think, or maybe I missed it. But if you select your weapon, you can go into its customization and change up some factors of the weapons. Weapons sometimes have different customization items, different sights, or just different characteristics that you can change up when you go into the weapon menu, and I didn't actually know this, so I wish I had known it earlier, just because I would have liked to have seen the customization on some of the earlier weapons that I had picked up. But now you know. It's not too much. Most of the time it's just changing up a sight for a longer range sight, or it can be decreasing range, or for reload speed, or changing a magazine reload speed or something like that. But it's a nice little layer of customization, and you can also add your modifications to your armor and to your weapons from there as well. And you can also apply shaders that you have acquired along your journeys as well. So if you like to change up the color of a particular favorite armor that you're wearing at the moment, you can do that from there. So this is just something that I would have liked to have known from about level 5 or so, and I wasn't made aware of it until around level 15 or 16, which is probably my fault, but then again, it's better off that I tell you guys if you don't know than me not tell you and you guys not know about it until later levels like me. Anyway guys, those are just some starting out tips from a complete Destiny noob like myself. I haven't got thousands of hours in Destiny 2. I haven't got thousands of hours in Destiny. I just really enjoy the game, and these are just some of the tips that I would have liked to have known when I was starting out the game. Now, they're not going to carry you all the way, because I believe that you should learn some of this stuff for yourself. The fun in playing a new game is learning the quirks and learning everything about it, which you get from just playing the game. And these are just some general tips to help you out, so I hope to have helped you out in some way. If you have any tips that you'd like to share, then feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I shall see you, beautiful people, in the next video.